welcome back everybody to episode 5 of my Love Hurts series. For this review, I'm going a little bit further back to the early days of film. This film is called The Mummy. And what's unique about this film is it's from 1932, and out of all the Universal Monsters films, it was the only one that was based on a real-life event that happened. The real-life event was the opening of King Tut's tomb in 1922, and that is when I believe the film actually starts. It starts in 1922, but the bulk of the film plays out in 1932. This isn't the one with Brendan Fraser, although that was a good one, some questionable CG. The original version is about an Egyptian mummy who searches Cairo for the girl he thinks is his long lost princess. That's just the bare bones explanation of it. And right here, it stars, biggest name in the film, Boris Karloff. Now, this was a first-time watch for me, and I really liked it. Female lead was Zita Johann. If I recall correctly from researching it a little bit, it's the only mummy film that has Boris Karloff in it. There's an opening slow zoom into a scroll that has Egyptian hieroglyphs on it. Whether or not it's an accurate translation, I don't know, and I don't think it really matters. They put in title cards over top of the scroll, some backstory, which I thought was a little cool, and it was a great start to the film. One of the things I know that would have improved this film so much was having a Steadicam. Obviously the Steadicam wouldn't be invented for a few decades later, but the way that they were trying to do some camera movements, you could tell that they had the idea of what Steadicam shots, those kind of shots that you'd expect to see in a film, but what they had, and because it was so early on and it's a product of early film production and stuff, the camera movements are stiff, but they don't take away from the film. It gives you enough of an idea that you can fill in the blanks. Hey, they were trying to do this, and it's it looks good the way it does. Sure, if they had a Steadicam from 4 decades later, the shots would have been smoother, but they worked with what they had to make a really good film. Editing is well done. For a film from 1932, I was actually pleasantly surprised that the film was edited as good as it was. The amount of shots, I just wasn't expecting it. I was expecting it to be somewhat decent, but I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. It was even well written, I found. Everything was believable. It was funny in parts, and it was decently paced. There were some close-ups, which are what the terrifying elements of the film, that's where the horror comes from, I think, is the terrifying close-ups. The sets are very well designed, very believable, much like the Dracula film about 5 decades later. It was more of a mystery than it was a horror film, and I find that with a lot of films from prior to Hitchcock's Psycho, while they are classified as horror films, watching them now makes them more not really feel like a typical horror film, but you can see for the time it was. I found this more of a mystery than a horror film. Acting was really good. You can't really go wrong with Boris Karloff in films. I've seen a couple of them that he's in, but never ended up watching this one until I did for this. Now this might be surprising and it kind of spoils the movie, but the makeup used for the mummy was only for promotional stuff and maybe some close-ups of the film. So it seems kind of odd when you're watching it and you don't see the actual mummy. Boris Karloff is out of makeup through the film, and I think he stated once in an interview that they only put the makeup on him once for some shots or something, and throughout the film, no makeup. He still made for a terrifying film without the makeup. He was just in plain Egyptian attire, I would say. Seemed kind of odd because you'd think that maybe he had like the wrappings on or something like that, but as it typically shows in these kind of films. But this one he didn't, so it kind of stands out. It was an interesting choice to show him out of makeup as a quote-unquote different character than what people would expect. Imhotep's transition, Imhotep is who Boris Karloff actually plays. That's the mummy version of his character. The transition back to a mummy was really cool and well executed through like the whole makeup, crossfading, and obviously if you filmed a movie like that nowadays, all these transitions, the camera movements, they'd be more fluid and seem more natural. The one shot or two that it showed the mummy's makeup, it was really well done. I would say probably the theme for this one would be the theme of undying love. That was it for my review of The Mummy from 1932. I hope you enjoyed this review of the film, and give it a like and subscribe if you're new. Stay tuned for more and share if you can. See ya.